Tell you what, it's bloody cold outside, isn't it? And that actually leads on to a pretty good segue into the topic that I'm going to be talking about today. So with the obviously winter months, the shit weather, the cold temperatures, the dark days, the long nights, the short afternoons, tend to come with it a drop in activity. Because let's be honest, no one really wants to go out for a walk when it's pissing it down and 0 degrees outside, do they? And it becomes an issue because obviously people want to transform their body, they want to lose fat, they want to start losing weight. And one side of the equation which determines whether or not fat loss is going to occur is calories out, or calorie expenditure, or the amount of energy that you're burning off throughout the day. And the biggest part of that, which you actually have control over, is something known as your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is just a very, very posh way of saying our daily activity. Now, obviously, with the cold weather outside, everyone's activity is going to take a natural decline. And people get a little bit worried or a little bit anxious that they can't stay active in this weather. And that's completely understandable. What you're doing is you're focusing too much on your steps. Now, even though looking at steps as a way to quantify activity is a pretty logical thing to do, that's all it is. It's just a way to quantify activity. It's not necessarily steps that you need to be focused on. It's your general activity throughout the day and by expansion throughout the week. So if steps aren't really an ideal way to get your activity in because it is shit weather or it is really, really cold, then you just need to find the natural equivalent to steps in order to try and improve your activity. And there's a couple of ways that you can do this. Firstly, you can start doing your activity or start doing any kind of like cardio exercises at the gym after your workouts. So let's say, for example, you go to the gym 3 times a week, and then after your workouts, you invest the time that you spent, walking or getting your activity in into a 30-minute, cycle or a 30-minute Stairmaster. Because if you cycle for about an hour, that is roughly the equivalent to about 10 to 12,000 steps throughout the day. And as I said, because you're not being that active throughout the day because of the weather, you can just invest the time that you're saving from not getting the steps out into getting on the cycle for about 30, 45, maybe even 60 minutes after your training session. Or, even better, just add another gym session into your week. Granted, the expenditure of calories isn't the most important thing about exercise or the gym, but when it comes to this situation, it might well be an effective method to implement one extra gym session throughout your week, thus increasing your overall exercise activity thermogenesis, which is another part of your caloric expenditure. Next, there is a possibility that you could start playing like a sport, or you could start learning how to play a sport. I'll give you an example. There's a client that I've got that lives in a country whereby, going for a walk outside probably isn't the most safest thing in the world. So what she started doing is she started playing tennis. She started out playing once a week, but she's gradually going to start increasing that to twice a week alongside her gym exercises. And starting a sport is actually a really, really, really good way of increasing your overall caloric expenditure, because obviously the better that you get at it, the more you're going to enjoy it, and you'll actually start doing it for things other than just the caloric expenditure. You'll start doing it for the social aspect. You'll start doing it because you want to get better at it. You'll start doing it because you genuinely enjoy doing it. Finally, be a little bit more mindful of making smaller changes throughout your life. So for example, if you do drive to work, then potentially think about parking further away from the door. Obviously, you're going to have to deal with a bit more shit weather for about 10, maybe 20 seconds whilst you walk to the door, but gradually doing that every single day is going to gradually start improving your steps incrementally. Use the stairs instead of the lift. Walk more around the office. Do more around the house. Do more chores instead of waiting for your partner to do it. Be the one that goes and makes the cups of teas in the office. Start doing little, smaller, more incremental things to gradually start improving your activity throughout the day, which doesn't involve going for a walk after work or doesn't involve doing shit outside when the weather is like this. If you start applying all of these things and start investing the time saved from going for a walk or getting your steps out into just improving your general activity throughout the week like this, then you are going to start noticing that you've actually counteracted the decrease in steps by increasing your activity, which is essentially what steps are for. It's just, as I said, a way to quantify activity. And you'll notice you'll start making more progress, and you won't lose any progress either because your activity is higher than what it was. If you like this video, make sure that you give it a like. If you've got any questions for me, comment below because I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. And if you want to catch any more free fitness or fat loss based tips without any of the bullshit, make sure that you're either following my Instagram at k.p_health or subscribe to this channel. I'm now going to go and get warm because I'm still freezing. Take care. Peace.